A good Voch Raboisai. We're live here in Park City. We have two choshev guests here, Uri Kirshner and Yona Buchstein. Come on, you got to change it to Buchstein. No? You don't get that? Okay.
I do from my brother.
Oh, from your brother. What, he's Buchstein? Really? Oh, and we have Rebbe Akiva Simcha Stefansky. He's a big part of the Daf since Sanhedrin. Come in. Rabbi Isai, there's a few things here in Hebrew. Our editor, it's already Shabbos over there, so he didn't. But I just want to read a few things from the Hebrew. I'll try to translate. Yisrael Meir Weil, he's doing a live share. He wants to start a whole thing in Rechasim. And I really believe it's a good idea to show the shir and to learn it together, ba'achdus, not just you can do it in Los Angeles. By the way, Yona, we need a lot of help in Los Angeles. We need something's givaldic. Okay, here's another one. This guy who asked me not to say his name, but I said his name already in Hebrew, so I guess I could say it in English too. His name is Pinchas Sherman. And he says he knows us well. He was very, very tight with my son Aaron. The Shermans helped my son a lot when he was going through a whole tekufa in Telstone. So my son Aaron, he stayed by the Sherman's house for months. And so he says he knows he's the son of the brother of David Sherman, because I'm good friends with David Sherman also. Okay, anyway, so he says like this. He started Sanhedrin, everything's great, but one thing that if he gained one thing from the whole shir, is that I once spoke about giving incentives to your children to learn Torah, even if it's like crazy. I threw out like $1,000. You get $1,000 to the kid, and people are like, "What are you nuts? $1,000?" But he said he took it to heart, and his son was not. I don't know. He says like that, but the kids. Let's just say his son was, like a typical teenager going to school in high school, not loving it. And then he told his son really wanted an electric bike. What is that? That costs like $1,500 or whatever. It's not cheap. So he told his son, listen, if you learn a certain amount of Mishnayos, you'll finish the whole Shas Mishnayos, I'll get you a bike. So his Rebbe calls him up like a couple of months later. He says, what are you feeding your son now? Like something changed. The kid is like going crazy, learning in yeshiva normal, in the regular. Everything's got better. His whole learning got better because he got into this mode of learning Mishnayos and learning Ben Esdarim and learning this, that everything is. So he says, just for that, it was worth it. I can't believe that it was so simple and blah, 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 blah. Then I'm thinking to myself, you do the cheshbon, it's $1,000, $2,000. We spend so much money on our children. Like one ski vacation is much more than that. 2 therapy sessions is much more than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the real deal. Give your kid something geschmack. Tell him you'll take him on a ski vacation. If he does this, you'll buy him new skis. Kiva, I'm going to buy you new skis, Be'ez Hashem. That's my thing. Get the size and everything. I want to send it to you as a gift, like a surprise gift. You won't know about it. All right. And he says, I know that you care about Akar Satayv, so that's why I'm writing this email. It's a small amount of Akar Satayv. Okay. What else do we have here? Oh. I started the Daf beginning Sanhedrin. I hadn't missed the Daf yet. It's giving me a new meaning for learning Gemara. I love learning, and I'm looking forward every day to the shir. I do the Daf on the train. I'm going to work at 5 a.m. in the middle of work. It's the best hour of my day. I had a baby girl, Baruch Hashem, 2 days ago at 1 a.m. We're in the hospital since Monday morning. Things weren't looking good. It was getting very complicated, dangerous, this, that. The kitzer, instead of sitting around, he started to learn the Daf. 20 minutes in, the doctor came and said that things are looking so much better. The kitzer, he continued learning, and he attributes all these Nissim to learning the Daf with love. Mordechai Yidel Roth, Westcliff, England. Oh, this is very interesting. Thank you for your Gevaldik Ashir. I started learning Daf Yomi at the start of Masechta Sanhedrin. Where's Kiwi? Oh. I wanted to learn the Agadah Gemara, specifically the Gemaras that you talk about Mashiach, and I wanted to learn it with you because I think you and the Chaver in the Shir bringing Mashiach. And I want to be part of your island. Please don't get insulted when I tell you this, but in my humble opinion, you are not Mashiach. Shkoyach. Shtickle insulted. You'll get there one day, Mr. Shem. But right now, this guy, by the way, he's in charge of who's Mashiach and who's not. Just stop and say, one day I'll get there, he tells me. You'll get there one day, but right now not. You're definitely serving as a driving force in bringing it. Shkoyach. As someone who suffers from terrible ADD and only started to take ADD medication at 23 years old, I finally got to experience the experience late in the game, the thrill of handling and learning with the biggest Rosh Chaburas and Lamdonim in Beis Medrash Gavaya in Lakewood. It was more enjoyable than a private jet. However, since post-pandemic medications stopped working, blah, 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 he couldn't even follow a simple story in the Navi. Kitzer, he decided to go to work. He was getting very down, so he left in 2023 to go work. Hopefully he'll get back one day. However, since I discovered your share, I really began enjoying it immensely. I take chizuk how you always say people with ADD are drawn to your share, and even though I have not been consistent with listening to the entire share and even missing a few days, I still have a satisfaction covering a big part of the daf with you, and for that, I am grateful for Pesach G. All right, Rabbi Isai, let's jump into this. This is Givaldic. Again, this is a Magichir in Ohora. It's a very good yeshiva in Eretz Yisrael. Bein Asdarim, he has a very large chabur of guys. Instead of them going into playing and this, I'm not so into that. I hate to say it. I hope they don't hear this. I think boys should take a little break during the day. Whatever, but they do what they do. And he shows them the charts here, as you can see. He gives them a shir. There's a Givaldic Magichir, this guy. And they call it, instead of MDY, they call it NDY, because N stands for Nahora. Here it is. I don't know if you can see. Oops. Here, I'll show you. Oh, you can't hear the Maggid Shir. There's no sound here. Okay, whatever. Mark will. He's fixing the sound. Here you go. Again, Nechama. Again.
סיפור לא יאמר אתוי, זה כבר יכול להיות רק מקרה של שופרות, אבל באופן...
Oh, maybe I'll show the other one. Where's the nice one, Mark? This one here. MDY monthly. So we have 4 more people. $36 from Jacob Granick, 18 from Fred Brin, 18 from Moshe S. Levin, and 18 from Richard Miller. Help us cover our $2 million budget. Yeshua Koyach. Only that we do it during Rosh Chodesh once in a while, if we remember. Okay. And now for the sponsors of the. Here we go. So Yishkoyach for coming out. It's Dailam skiing now. I don't blame them. The 5 Masechta sponsors. Refuah Shlayama for Yosef Shmuel Ben Alte Nechama from his grateful family. Masechta sponsored for Atzlacha Barukhniyos Ubegashmiyos. The Masechta sponsored Larry Cohn in memory of Yechiel Moshe Ben Chaim who started learning Daf Yomi at the age of 70 and continued for 32 years. Masechta for the unity of the Jewish people. The Masechta Glenn Esterson with love and gratitude from Wilmington, North Carolina. Thank you for enriching my life with Torah. Parnasa Chodesh, 4 of them. Zchut, Parnasa Birevach for Baruch, Tzvi, Nissim, Ben Shoshana, Leah, with Hakaras Atoiv from Anonymous, Yishikoyach, Mr. Anonymous, and Sprinzinel and Gross, the Nishmas, the Yosef of our fathers, Shtemizam Ben Yitzchak, Isaac, Zchut, Birevach, B'Yom, Isaac Ben Tzvi, here Shakoin, Zchut, Birevach, and Refuah Shlayama to Yehonasan Eitan Ben Batsheva Bracha. Carlo of the Week, Dov Eisenberger, in honor of the Bergen Hatzalah MD Wires. The Muncie firefighters had their turn. Parnasa Yom, Sprinzi and Alan Gross, in memory of our dear cousin, Rabbi Yechiel Moshe Ben Chaim. Parnasa Yom, Yankee Lichtenstein, to find a shidduch b'karoiv. Amen. The art of the month for Zchut for Belly and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many. And art of the month in honor of Yossi Klein and Mark Ashkenazi for all the work that they do. Our boys say we have more ridiculous stuff here. We're holding Daf Memhei Amud Beis, 6 lines from the bottom, where it says Gemara. Tana Rabbana, V'humas v'talisa. It says in the pasuk that first he dies, then you hang. Yachal kamu masam nitli. I would think that all the people that die in Bezdin, all the chayvim misa, they get to be hung. Tamad loymar ki kilas elikim tali. Only the person who curses the Rebbeinu Shalom, he gets hung. Take a look. So, I'm not going to mention any words that cause trauma. No, I lied. I will mention. But first, I'm going to show you some pictures. So there's not going to be any trauma here. It's traumaless Gemara. Says the Gemara as follows. It says in the pasuk, "V'humas v'talisa." Anyone who dies in Bezdin, you hear a kivi. It's picture time. Check this out. This is more interesting. Anytime somebody dies in Bezdin, v'talisa. What kind of Mises Bezdin? So if I could enlarge this a little bit. Oy, it's not so, everything is sluggish today. Here we go. You have Sayif, Sreifo, Chenek, Mkalel, Skila, all the types of people that deserve to die. You hang them as well. Yeah? So what is that? This is a generalization. V'humas, anybody that dies in Bezdin, v'tolisa, very simple. Any chiyuv misas Bezdin, doesn't matter what the aver is. After the guy dies, he drinks that hot lead, hang him. After you chop his head off, hang him. I don't know how you're gonna hang. Oh, we'll explain the Gemara because you don't hang him like we hang today from the neck. You hang from the hands. Okay. But then the Torah said that's called. Rabbi, I'm going to say the word now. Klal. It's klal. It's a general rule. But the Torah says immediately. Kikilalas elikim tali. What does that mean? Only a person who curses the Rebbeinu Shalom gets hung. So you take all the people from the Misa, you put them on the side, they don't get hung. One guy gets hung. Okay. So it says the Gemara like this. Just like this cursor, he gets skila. Anybody that's over any aver in the Torah, let's say, whatever it is that you get skila, that person also gets hung. No, let's make a different comparison. What did the Makal do? He cursed the Rebbeinu Shalom. When you curse the Rebbeinu Shalom, that means you don't believe in the Rebbeinu Shalom. So too, Afkol Shekava Beikar, that means somebody that worshipped Avodah Zarah didn't curse the Rebbeinu Shalom, worshipped Avodah Zarah. Same thing, he also gets to be hung. But Michael Meflagi, what's the source of the machlokes? So we have here literally 6 lines of Gemara, so don't fall asleep on me and don't space out. It's super, super easy. The question is, when you have a generalization, when the Torah says all these type of people, and then the Torah, what's the word? Limits and focuses in to one. So that's called a klal and then a prat. So when you have a klal and then a prat, the prat explains the klal. Don't think it's everybody. No, it's only this individual. So that's very simple. The other very simple thing is, you can take those 2 words, instead of calling it a klal and a prat, you call it what? A riboy and a miot. It's the same words, the same thing, and it sounds the same when we say it in Shleisha Esri Midah Shatar addresses them. But if you do it like that, it depends how you do it. You could take the same words and say this is a klal and a prat, a generalization specification, or a riboy and a miot, which is, I don't know, said in English. Miot is limit, and a riboy is the opposite of a limit. No, that's klal, generalization, and a riboy is manyization, whatever the article word is. So it's just a question how to learn the same exact pasuk. So we saw the klal and the prat already, right? We can see it again real quickly. Here's the klal. It says in the pasuk, v'humas, v'talisa, that's a klal, that's everybody. And then we narrow it down to just one, because it says kikilalas, it has to do with being to curse. So the Gemara says, "B'makom ifli what's machlokes rabban darshi klal prat." You should read these psukim as a generalization specification. Realize the darish ribi miyut. Realize says no, it's more than that. You get more because it's a ribi and a miyut. So how do you do it? Rabbanan Darshi Klal Prat Ivumas Vitalis. I showed you Klal. Ki Kilas Elikim Prat. Now, here's interesting. Check this out. Amplification. Gimaldik. Sorry. So check this out. It's very, very simple. Where's the klal and where's the prat in two separate psukim? V'humas v'talis is pasuk chav beis. Kikilas alakim is pasuk chav gimel. Besides the fact that they're in two different psukim, there's a lot of words in between them. So says the Gemara, that's a problem. It's not a real klal or prat or klal place. The last line on the Amud, if they were close to each other in the same pasuk without any words separated, Amrina name beklal matzsheba prat. So then we say what's typical. Then the prat limits it completely to just one item, to just one cursor. He gets hung. No one else gets hung. Hani in midachin top of Mem Vav Amud Aleph hashtem rachikim adali. But now that as you see, it's in two separate psukim. Hani l'rabuya avoid zora the domile b'chol mili. Then this pasuk comes to say, check this out. No. Oh, it's in here. As you can see, there's two people hanging on the tree. Who's hanging on the tree? The Makalo, but also Mr. Avodah Zarah guy. Okay, because they're very similar. They both don't believe in Hashem. So that's Chachamim. Chachamim did what? It's a prat. It should be very, very limited to only a cursor, but because they're not in the same psukim, so we added one more item, the most similar thing to it, which is Mr. Avodah Zarah. Rebbe Lezer adds more. Why? Because automatically when you do a ribun amiyut, you automatically get more. Rebbe Lezer darish ribun amiyut. So let's see. Very, very gishmak. Check this out. Take an interesting sugi like this that a lot of people don't like, and you make it super easy and fun. Rebbe Lezer, Vumas with the Lisa, it's the same psukim, right? Just instead of calling it a klal, we call it a ribui. So that includes everybody. Now you have a miyot because it says killas, only cursing, but more than that. It's separated by two psukim. It's separated into psukim, and there's words in between. Same thing that we said by Chachamim. Vumaz u'talisa ribui kikillas miyot. If they would be in the same pasuk, let's say, then I would have automatically, because the ribui adds more than chacham. So he would add not only a cursor, but also Avodah Zarah guy. But since it's worse, it's divided, it's separated by other words. Then I'm going to push this button over here, and you get, since it's separated by the two psukim, so you get anybody that is stoned to death. So according to Chachamim, you get one more, you get a Avodah Zarah guy. And according to Chachamim, according to Rebbe Lezer, you get all the Niskalim people. Okay, that's the end of the sugya. Now we're moving on to a new sugya. Ha'ish Tailam, you only hang a man, not a woman. My time in the Rabbanon, why do Chachamim say that only a man? Makra, very simple, but Talisa Oisai, it says, a Lashon Zachar, you should hang him. Oisai, hang him, V'loi Oisa, and not her. Birevach Eliezer, and what does Rebbe Lezer do? He says, you do hang a woman? Oisai, V'loi Ksusai. It says, Oisai means, like we had yesterday, that he should not be wearing any clothing. The stoning should be done directly on his body and not with any cushioning of clothing. Rabbanan enochanami. Elo amar kro, they don't argue with this. So then how do they know that a woman is not hung? Elo amar kro, b'chiyeh be'ishchet, ish v'lo isha, only a man gets hung and not a woman. Rebbe Lezer, hi b'chiyeh be'ish, my darshan, and Rebbe Lezer that argues, what does he do with this possible b'chiyeh be'ish? Omer eshlakish ahuli muti ben soyer meir. So we have the big schos of having a very chashuv yid in our shir. His name is official, gross. From, hold on, we need some sound there, yeah? It's a 1 minute video, but he spent a lot of time and effort on this. So I'd like to show it. Have a wonderful day. Ask the Gemara, what are you telling me? You don't hang him. Vatanya ben Sarah Moira, Niska Vinitla, you do hang him. Vinitla, you hang him. The rabbis ben Sarah, the opposite. No, you do hang him. My timer. So on one drasha, you would say you don't hang him. Chet Mishal Chet Nerag, a person that dies because of his sin. Yosef ben Sarah Moira shall say you don't kill him because of his sin. You kill him shall sum soifer nerag. Only because we anticipate what's going to happen with this kid, so we kill him now. But the bottom line is, have a miyat achar miyat. It's a double negative. And when a double negative is what, Uri? You're a lawyer. It's a positive. And therefore we learn that a ben soyer does get the hanging. It says, wait a minute, you see that Shimon Shedach hung these women, and what does the Mishnah say? No, Shimon Shedach hung 80 sorcerers. It's weird that he hung so many in one day. You're not supposed to kill so many people in one day. So you see that the fact that he killed them all in one day, it was different. It was a rasha. Something special was going on. And you can't bring any raya from Shimon ben Shadach's story. You know when you don't kill two people in one day? When they're chayiv two different death penalties. But if they did the same exact aveira, you do kill them the same day. Done him. So those sorcerers, they all did the same Aveira. So that's why I killed them all in the same day. So you could learn from him. Why are you telling me you can't learn from that story? It's one story, and you said you can't learn from it. So you have to explain like this. When do you kill somebody when it's like two different deaths? What's the story? You're going to kill somebody for Chil Shabbos and Avodah Zarah. Two different people, one for Avodah Zarah, one for the Shabbos. That is considered two. It's the same misa. It's like two different. That's like two different misas. Why? Because even though they're getting the same exact death penalty, they're both getting skila, but they got it for two different reasons. But when it's one death penalty for the same exact avera, then you could be done all these people. So then the question comes back. Then what do we answer? The truth is the Gemara doesn't even say the answer. Rashi says the answer. What's the question now? The question is, all these sorcerers, it is one avera and one misa. So then they do deserve to die in one day. You don't have to split up the days. And the Gemara says, no, they shouldn't die in the same day. We just explained that if it's one misa, one avera, you could kill as many people as you want because it's the same avera. It's easy to. What's the whole point? The whole point is how Bezin is not going to be careful. It's like two different separate cases. How can they deliberate two separate cases, death penalties, when one is Avodah Zarah, one is Shabbos? So they can't. You have to split it up in 2 days. But if they all did the same exact avera, all 80 women, they did kishuf. So it's one deliberation. Kill them all. The Gemara says, no, you can't learn from them. They shouldn't have died in the same day. Why not? Explains Rashi, because they did two types of kishufs. One was oiv, one was yadaini. So it's like two different averas. It's like Avodah Zarah and Chil Shabbos. Wait a minute. You cannot put two people to death in one day. Two people were over neshesish together. The man and the woman. You don't kill them together. Why not? We just said if they're over one avera, the same type of avera, and they both have the same type of misa. What misa does a noyef and a noyefes get? Chenek. So kill them in the same day. Why do you have to split them up in 2 different days? Answer is, you're right. A typical noyef and noyefes, they would get the death penalty in the same day. But when we're talking about the daughter of a kohen, she gets sreifa, and the man gets chenek, then you have to split them up in 2 different days. Oi, the bas kohen v'zoymemei zoymemeha. Let me show you. He did a phenomenal job here because it could get complicated. No, I don't want that. Let's start from here. We'll go here. Hold on. Here we go. Check this out. Again, let me just say it as a regular Magachir, and then I'm going to show you the pictures. If the Bas Kohen had Adam that said that she is Chayiv Misa, then Adam came and said that the first set of Adam are liars, Imanu Yisem. So now the first set of Adam wanted to kill her and her Noyef, so they get Misa. But then another set of Adam came and said that the second set of Adam are liars. So then she goes back to getting killed, and the second Adam get Chenek. Now let me show you in a picture how it looks. She's a Bas Kohen. Adam come and say she's Chayiv Misa. She was Noyef. So she's Chayiv what? She's Chayiv Sreifa. Now, what does the guy get? Chenek. Great. Now comes a second set of Adam and say, Imanu Yisem, you're liars. What are they in fact saying? That she is not Chayiv anything. And these Adam, the first set of Adam, are Chayiv what? What should they get, Rabbi Isai? Not Sreifa. That's what I would think. But they get Chenek. Not because they're not a Bas Kohen. They wanted to cause her to get Sreifa. They wanted to cause him to get Chenek. They get Chenek. Why? We go with the man. For whatever reason. Now comes a third set of Adam and say to the second set of Adam, Imanu Yisem. So now what are they doing? They're re-establishing that she is Chayiv Misa. And they're saying that the second set of Adam is Chayiv Misa because the second Adam wanted to do the first Adam in and make the first Adam Chayiv Chenek. So now the second set of Adam are going to be Chayiv what? Here, you did it very nicely. So you could look in this little box. Let's look at the box. Oops, maybe I did too much. But Afal Pikein, here we go. The second set of Adam are going to be Chayiv Chenek because they wanted the first set of Adam to be Chayiv Chenek. The Bas Kohen is going to be Chayiv what? Sreifa. So now we have a case that one is Chayiv Sreifa and one is Chayiv Chenek. It's like a really roundabout way to say the same exact thing the Gemara said. Bas Kohen ubayala. The man gets Chenek and she gets Sreifa. But let's say the man ran away, says Taisus. So the Adam are going to get the Chenek instead of the man because they are, whatever, just to make it cool. And now there's a cool drawing here. I think it helps, no? There's three sets of Adam and you start getting confused what the first one wanted to do, the second one wanted to do. Gival. Weiter. Tanya Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov Shomati. Oh, so let me just show you real quickly. I'm not going to show you the whole thing because it's in Hebrew, but it's beautiful scenery. Let me get some sound. Yeah, please. Thank you, Shkoyach, for a second. Let me shut this down. Okay. Click whenever.
רבוי סי, אני נמצא כאן בפארק סיטי, יוטה. נפלויס הבוירה, איזה יופי. עושים כאן סקי, מקום שקט, מדי פעם איזה מישהו שעובר כאן. אמרתי, נלמד קצת גמורי כאן, למה לא? בכל מקום צריכים ללמוד תורה. אז כתוב ככה, טניו, וואו. רב אליעזר בן יעקב אומר, שמעתי שבסדין מקין ואוינצ'ים שלא מן התורה. אם אתם מבינים מה זה, אני כתבתי את זה, כי זה על הטלפון שלי, ועם הפלאפון מצלמים, אז כתבתי את זה מהר.
I use this so you don't hear the skiers fly by. Somebody said he likes to hear that. But, so it says like this. Bezdin, even in our generation, there's a Rishonim discuss it. What about in our generation when we have more power? Bezer Hashem, we control Eretz Yisrael. Can a Bezdin say, you know what, people are not acting properly? They're immoral, whatever it is, let's punish them. Can we put people to death? I once mentioned it, just even in this Masechta, that there was a story where a guy killed someone, and then they went to speak to him, and he said, he laughed at them, he said, I'll kill again. And basically they got the government to kill him, but you're allowed to do it. It's a rush, different Rishonim discuss it. But anyways, the Bezdin in those days, they could go and give people malchus, or even kill people. For instance, not to go against the Torah, to make a fence, to make a geder for the Torah. For instance, there's a person who rode a horse on Shabbos. So the Yevanim wanted to destroy the Torah, to get rid of the Torah, and people started being relaxed in the halachas. So they brought him to Bezdin, and they stoned him to death. He didn't do Issa Deraisa. He rode a horse. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal. It's the Rabbanan, because he might come to break a branch. But that generation needed this kind of punishment to deter people. There's another story with another person. He had relations with his wife in public underneath a fig tree. So they gave him malchus. That doesn't deserve death penalty, but they gave him malchus. Doesn't say anywhere in the Torah that you get malchus for that. People were acting inappropriately, so they gave him a little malchus. Says the Mishnah, what? How do you hang this guy? So it's geschmack stuff. No, how do you hang the guy? No, not this. I don't think we have anything yet, but okay. How do you hang? Says the Mishnah, you put a pole in the ground, and then on top you have like a T coming out. You tie his hands together, and basically you hang him by his hands. You don't hang him by his neck. It's like somebody grabbing onto a tree, like this. So his hands are together, you grab it, and that's how you do it, like that. So from this sugya, people want to bring a raya that perhaps the Jews didn't kill Isaiah, because we don't kill like that. We don't. First of all, we kill then hang. That's what we prove. We're going to prove. We kill then hang. We don't hang and then kill. Second of all, we don't hang people this way. I shouldn't have done that. But we hang this way. The hands are tied like this. So they want to prove there's a whole debate, historical debate. Who killed? It was the Romans, Jews. It's like, there's a lot of hatred towards Jews because of that. Okay, so says the Gemara. Says the Mishnah. Rabbi Yosef holds you can't plant the beam into the ground; it has to be above ground. So therefore, the beam is leaning on a wall. And you hang the person like a butcher hangs the meat. You don't hang him there for very long. It's literally seconds that he's hung. And if you leave the body overnight, you shall not allow the body to be on the tree overnight. Keep covered, and this is a positive commandment. This is a mitzvah say. You should bury him. Because the curse of Hashem is hung. So the Mishnah explains a different pshat in the pasuk. People are going to ask as they walk by, hey, why is this guy hanging there? You're going to answer him because he cursed Hashem. That answer, that back and forth is a chil shem shomayim. Omer Meir, this is unbelievable stuff right here. This is again to a lot of people. When a human being has pain, even the pain of a rasha, a pain of somebody that just got the death penalty because he did something not right. Shechina ma loshenu imeres. What does the Shechina say? Kalani miroishi, kalani mizroi. My head hurts, my hand hurts. Hashem says that my head hurts. When a rasha, another Jew, is suffering, Hashem suffers with him. It's unbelievable. You hear? Any suffering that a Jew has, somebody dies young and the mishpach is bitzar, Hashem is bitzar with that person. Every tzar that a person has, people have tzar all day. Everybody has tzar. Nobody goes through life without tzar. Hashem is mitzar with them. Chaim Volozhin says, and a lot of Hasidim talk about this. I saw it in 4 different places and different rebbes. And Chaim Volozhin says about Chana, that says Chana was matiach dvarim klapi mala. She had an interesting way of davening. We learn a lot about her tefillah. We daven, we try to base our tefillah based on her. She had great tricks in davening. So one of the things she did was she was matiach tefillah klapi mala. What does that mean? She didn't say, it says Veispalel al Hashem, not El Hashem, on Hashem, not to Hashem. So what does it mean? So Chaim Volozhin says, based on this Mishnah, Chana told the Rebbeinu Shalom, when you cause me pain, when I have pain because I don't have children, so you are in pain. Hashem, I don't want you to be in pain. Because this Mishnah says that when I'm in pain, you, Hashem, are in pain, the Shekhinah is in pain, so I'm davening that you shouldn't be in pain. I'm not davening for myself. I'm davening for you, Hashem. That's a trick. She had a bunch of tricks. One of her tricks was, she said, you gave me certain things in my body that I could feed a child. I can't put them to use. What good is it? Why did you do that? Different tightness to Hashem she had. So, and it works. You can't imitate those tainas. You have to come up with your own taina, usually. So it says Gemara, weiter in the Mishnah. Okay, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu has pain from a rasha that just got killed, certainly a righteous person that has pain or is killed, Hashem is b'tzar. Any dead person, in Eretz Yisrael, the very makbid to very right away, especially in Shelaima, comes from here, from this Mishnah. If you leave the body overnight, you get an avera. But here's the big but. But if it's for the honor of the dead, and to give him a good levaya, to bring him a nice casket, so first of all, the Magen Avram says that this isser of leaving a body overnight is also on a nefel, on a miscarriage. But there's a lot of nidan here. What constitutes covered for the mace? Let's say you're waiting for one of the kids to come from a different country. So the Pischei Tshuva talks about certain examples. Let's say there's a woman who's not sure that her husband died, and they have to wait for it to come from another city to identify the dead. And if she could identify that this is her husband, she could get married. So is that considered? So yes. Also, the same identification will cause covered for the mace because now his sons can say Kaddish. Otherwise, who's going to say Kaddish? So these are reasons that you could allow a body to stay over. You say also by G'daylim. Certain G'daylim were nifter mamash erev Shabbos. You can't do a levaya. If you wait till Matzah Shabbos, you wait till Sunday, you have 100,000 people at levaya. You don't. You have 5,000 people. So they usually pass and let's wait. It's a cover for the mace. So says the Gemara. Oh no, we're not in Gemara yet. They wouldn't allow him to be buried in the regular cemetery with his family. Why? You don't bury a rasha with a tzaddik. They had the Bezdin had two different cemeteries. The Bezdin, one for those who get hariga, one for the chanika. The one who gets skila and streifa. In other words, two separate batikvars. And then afterwards, the sakalabas, once the body decomposes, sometimes you take the bones, and then he's allowed. Why? Rabbi say, why could you bury this guy now? You don't bury a rasha with a tzaddik. The answer is because when the body decomposes, that causes a kapara for the body, for the person. That bizayin, that humiliation of the body rotting away and then little insects eating the body, whatever that happens over there, that's part of the kapara, which is unbelievable, that you get a kapara lachar misa. You don't have to suffer it's good to suffer in life to have a kapara, but after death also you get a kapara. You make the relatives, you force them to go, speak to the dayanim, ask them how they're doing, and the edim, they're probably not going through such a great time because they caused somebody to die. And kaloymar, let us explain, says the Mishnah, she'im b'libeinu aleichem. We don't have any complaints against you. Shedin emes dantem. You did what the Torah said to do, and we accept it with a full heart. We're not upset at you. Daf Memvav Amud Beis. V'lo yom misablim. And part of the oynish, part of the kapara, is to do. Okay, I'll do that. V'lo yom misablim. You cannot sit shiva on a person that gets killed by the bezin. Aval oyninin shenaninus el belev. You want to be sad? That's okay, as long as you don't show this outright avelos of shiva. Why? Again, there's a concept, says Rashi, of causing embarrassment to the body, to the person. That's a busha, that you're not saying shiva for him, and that creates what? A kapara. That's what we're looking for. Shvat, innovations in honor of Elchanan Pressman, official, as Zchut, Hakiva Simcha ben Feigo. There he is. You know what? Let me turn it around. Hold on. Get me off of this. Here, let's go. This is the big shear in. Give a Simcha ben Fega. Hello. Now the Olam knows. Then you have to go back to that shear. You see, Fischl? He does the shear, Fischl. Zchut, give a Simcha ben Fega, Shidduch 4, Rivka Yehuda's Bas, Yafachaya, and thank you to Eli Stefansky, who just walked by before. It's a good thing I didn't show her. Adar Global, experts in international financial services, anonymous. L'schus, Refuah Shlayama, Yechiel Moshe Ben Nechama, Shendol. You should have a refuah. Says the Gemara. We got to move over here. We're running out of time. Tanur Rabban. Ilu nemar chet v'talisa. Hayisi yomer toilu noisay v'achkach mimse noisay. If it would say chet and then hang, so I think say okay. First you hang, and then you kill. That's what the goyim do, and that's why they thought maybe that's what they're saying that the oisay ish. They first they hung him and then they killed him with nails or whatever they did to him. No. We kill first. We stone, and then after he's dead, then we hang. Okay, says the Gemara, this is what we do. When did we kill him? We do the Gemar din all the way close to Shkia. Right when people are running out of the shower, that's when we do the Gemar din. I'm talking about Erev Shabbos, yeah? Then you kill him right before Shkia, then you hang him. As soon as you hang him, that's how quickly you remove him from the tree, from the wood. Why? All we want to do is yaitza. We never want to do yaitza, but when it comes to tliya, to hanging, we're yaitza. A millisecond, we hang him, boof, we take him off. Tanur Rabban on 8, you have to this piece of wood that you hang him, you have to bury it with him, right? Maybe you could hang him on a live tree. No, you cannot hang him on a regular tree. Ki cover, it says you should bury this wood, that you have to be able to bury it immediately. They have to bring a chainsaw and cut the tree down. That's not good. You're missing a step. Too many steps. Rabbi Yosef goes even a step further. You can't put it post into the ground because now you have to pull it out of the ground. That's an unnecessary step. So what do? You lean it against the wall. Just to pop it out of the ground, you don't have to bring a chainsaw. You just have to grab it out. Anybody can pull it out of the ground. That's not a step. Next sugya. People are going to ask, why is this guy hanging? You're going to say, because he cursed. Tanya, let me tell you a great mashal. The two identical twins in one city. One became a king. One became a robber. His great brother, the king, said, you know what? Let's get rid of my brother. Let's kill him. When people see him, it's identical to the king. It looks just like the king. People are going to say, the king is hanging. What Remeir is trying to say here is as follows. When a human being is hanging, a human being is created in B'Tselem Elokim, in the image of Hashem. There's something special about a human being. And when people see a human being hanging, they see Hashem Kaviyachol. And Hashem doesn't like it. It bothers him. That's why take him off immediately. He's up there for a second, get rid of him. Omer Remeir, my mashma. Omer Abai Kimanda Omer Kalais. So we said a beautiful thing in the Mishnah that anytime a human being has tsar, a yid has tsar, HaKadosh Baruch has tsar with him. Learned it from the word kilalas. What's kilalas? Kimanda Omer Kalais. It's not light, meaning it is heavy, which is a roundabout way of saying a very straightforward thing. My head is heavy. My head hurts me. My head is not hurting. It's like, it's too much, says Rav. Just say regular. My head is heavy. My head hurts. Why are you saying my head is not light? My life is, my world is light. In other words, it's a Lashon Saginar. It's like saying my life is heavy. They don't argue. They're saying the same thing. It means the same thing. It's just what's the pshat in the word kilalas? How do you read the word kilalas? Akopanim, it means that Hashem's saying, my head is heavy, my head hurts me when his head hurts. Says Gemara, but how are you learning that? We need this whole pasuk to say, not that Hashem is B'tzar with Klal Yisrael, but that when a person curses Hashem, you should hang him. You're right. Take the Mikal and hang him. Why do you say kill a funny way? My kill to teach us two things. First of all, somebody curses Hashem, you hang him, but also that Hashem is B'tzar for this. Maybe the whole pasuk is just coming to say that Hashem has tsar with Klal Yisrael when they have tsar. Kalas, my kilalas, shema mino tardi. How do you know if you leave the body over? Anybody, nothing to do. Oh yeah, I said anybody. I meant any body, any dead person, a relative that you leave him overnight in the refrigerator. You should bury him. Like we said in the Mishnah. Okay, so here's the pasuk again. The Gemara here brings the green part. Green. It's a positive. It's a thumbs up. Green. You shall bury him. The first part of the pasuk is loisalin. It's a loisaseh. Loisalin. Don't leave his body over. You should bury him. When I ask you, why is it a loisaseh, you bring me the green part. You tell me about the positive. Tell me the negative. Which is it's the same pasuk, so that's maybe why the Gemara brought it. Mikan remez l'kvura min haTorah. This is a hint to kvura min haTorah. The Gemara says it's a hint. Now check this out. Shover Malka, the king, not Jewish, asked Rav Chama, kvura min haTorah minayin. How do you know from your Torah that you're supposed to bury a human being? Ishtik v'lo. You didn't know what to tell him. I don't know. I see the world was given to Tipshim. Very strong lashon. We just said, it says in the pasuk, you should bury. So he says, no, he's not going to accept that. Maybe it means the Levet Liar and put him in a box. Who said to put him in the ground? Kikover, you should put him in a box. Oh, no, but it says, to Kiverna, says double lashon, you should bury. He doesn't do double lashon like that. Oh, so I just want to point something out. I think it's in our DNA, really, that we have to bury a Jew. A Jew gets buried, and we'll do everything, we'll turn over the whole world to bury a Jew. But how do you know it? I don't know. At the end of the day, it's not like a pasuk. We have a remez in the Torah from cover to Kibareno. That's it. So maybe we don't have to be that makpid. I'm just saying, I'm throwing it out there. I never heard this. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking shtosim now. But it's like, we'll give back 1,000 terrorists for one body. We don't, okay, not that, for one live person. But I'm sure we'll give a bunch of terrorists for a body. But where does it say you have to bury the body? Where? Show me where it says it. I don't know. Did anybody ever say it? Did anybody say, wait a minute? We're very makbid, very super makbid. And we should be, because that's our minhag and that's what we do. And I'm not saying not to. First of all, I'm not a rav. I'm just saying from this sugya, I don't see any concrete evidence that you have to bury the body. That and to do and to pay millions or whatever it is. No, it's in halacha that we have to bury. Yeah, but it's not in the pasuk really. Okay. I always say the story about it. I think it's a true story where a guy found out that they want to cremate his father, so he went to his brother and said, "Hey, we can't do this." His brother said, "No, we're cremating him." He said, "No." And at the end of the day, he had to give his whole Yerusha to his brother, which was like $5 million. And the halacha says that's what you have to do, because first you bury the father with the Yerusha money, and then whatever's left over you take. So in order for him to bury the father, that's what it costs, $5 million. So that's what it goes to the Yerusha. That's what they pass. Anyway, so, huh? Oh, we're gonna get there in about 22 seconds. So ask the Gemara, why don't we bring a raya? Why didn't he tell Shover Malka? V'neima midi akbur tzadike. Avraham Avinu was buried. Yitzchak, Yaakov, they were buried. So Gemara, that's not a good raya. Maybe they were buried min hagabal. That was the strong minhag of that day. Everybody buried, so they buried Avraham, not because it's a chiyuv. So says Gemara, mid the kavri HaKadosh Baruch Hu Moshe, what HaKadosh Baruch Hu does minhagim, or He buried Akash Baruch Hu buried Moshe Rabbeinu himself. The Lishtanim Minaga. No, yeah, Akash Baruch Hu did whatever the prevalent minhag of that generation was, and everybody buried them. So Akash Baruch Hu buried Moshe Rabbeinu. Not that you mechuyev to learn from Hashem for that, for future generations. Tashma. Today there's different minhagim. Like they changed it a little bit. Today in Eretz Yisrael, the government won't pay. They pay for burial, but now they're burying in one on top of another, 5 up. They say, if a person has a choice where to be buried, the one on the bottom, the one in the middle, or the one on top, which one would you choose? So I think the most lechatchila one that's most similar to burial is the one on the bottom, because that's on the ground. I think that's what they pass it. So different generations, different minhagim. We saw that they used to put a body in a cave and then come back a few months later when it was decomposed, only bones. They would take it out, gather it, put it in a bag, and then bury it. You save a lot of room like that. Decomposed, little tiny graves. So different minhagim change. So this is referring to Achi Hashiloini told a nevuah to the wife of Yeravam ben Avat. He was a big Rasha. His sons were big Rishayim, but he had one son. See, Yeravam didn't want Klal Yisrael to go up to be Oile Regel, to go to Yerushalayim. He was big Baal of Avodah. He gave all Avodah Zarah. He made everybody do Avodah Zarah. He didn't want them to see all the Nissim that happened in the Beis Hamikdash. So he put cops out. So he put his son, Aviyah, he was in charge of not going up. But Aviyah himself turned around and went up to the Beis Hamikdash. So he was righteous. He was a tzaddik. So he was dying. So Achia Shiloni tells the mother, don't worry about it. He will be okay. He's going to get a kfura and a hesped. So you see that it's a good thing to be nikvar. Your other sons, don't worry about it. They're not going to get anything. But he's going to be buried. V'savduloi kol Yisrael. Everybody's going to give him hesped, v'kavru oisa. So the Gemara says, no, not a big deal. You don't see from here that you're mechuyev to get kfura. He promised her that he's going to be buried like everybody else in the generation. What about Yosef but the other sons? They're not going to get a hesped. They're not going to get a kfura. L'doimen al pnei adam. They're going to be like waste of an animal on the ground. So not that it's such a bad thing, but it's going to be different than a minute. You can't prove anything. Akopanim, we don't have proof now. They have to bury. Ibaylu. Kevura mishum b'ziyona. Is it that the family shouldn't be embarrassed? That's why we bury. Imagine a body rotting outside. Where was it? During COVID. Remember, they would put the body in front of the house and just leave it there. It's like crazy stuff. Now I didn't think about it for a long time. There's certain neighborhoods, they just put the body by the front step and then they waited for a truck to come by and pick up the bodies. You don't remember these videos? That's or maybe it was different countries. I remember a scene like that. It was crazy. Different. There were overwhelmed. So people just take the body outside. Here, take it. What do you care if it's a kapara or it's because of bizarre? I'll tell you what. When a person says about himself, I don't want to be buried. If it's the embarrassment of the family, he can't embarrass his family. But if it's his own personal kapara that he gets by being buried, he said specifically, I don't want a kapara. So here's an amazing Rashi, although other Rishonim argue Rashi. If a person says, I don't want a kapara, don't bury me, and then you do bury him, does he get a kapara from being buried or not? He said, I don't want it. He gave it up. Rashi says you don't get a kapara. Once a person declares, I don't want the kapara of burial, he doesn't get the kapara even if you bury him. So at the end of the day, why do we bury? That the family shouldn't have busha or to give a kapara to the dead. Tashma, so now we're going to take all what we learned before and try to use it for this as well. You see that they buried Avram Avinu. Why did they bury Avram Avinu? Yitzchak, Yaakov. They need kaparas. Yes, everybody needs a kapara. Everybody sins. Tashma, again, we're going back to all the rights that we said before, one by one. They buried him and they were masped kapara. If it's to give a kapara, but the brothers also need a kapara. Why shouldn't they bury the brothers? The brothers also need a kapara. Says Gemara, hi, the tzaddik would have a kapara. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said no. you're right. They should get a kapara. They need a kapara. But Hashem said, don't give them a kapara. I don't want these Rishayim to get a kapara. Only the tzaddik. Aviyah is the tzaddik. He should get a kapara. Hanach lo yilevelu kapara, but the Rishayim not. Tashma lo yisavdu v'lo yikoveru. The people from Parnasa, they shouldn't get a husband. They shouldn't get a cover. So what do you see? Once again, same thing. That what? That's because of why can't they get a kapara? I don't want them to get a kapara. Yes, maybe you should bury them. They should get a kapara, but I don't want them to. I guess we shall stop over here. Rabboisai, have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, a wonderful wherever you are, a wonderful Shabbos if you're here in Park City, a wonderful Motzei Shabbos if you're in Eretz Yisrael. We'll see you Be'ezer Hashem tomorrow, Motzei Shabbos here in Park City, which is Sunday, I believe, in Eretz Yisrael. Yes.